Hi, you guys. So I'm going to be talking about oral examinations. So to start, I'm going to define and kind of describe what they are. So as any other assessment, oral examinations are given in order to assess, gauge, or evaluate student learning or understanding of a concept or group of concepts, and this can be done through either a formative or a summative context. Typically, an instructor asks students a question, provides a scenario, or even engages in some sort of discussion. And in doing so, based on the student's response and quality of response, the teacher will evaluate their learning and oftentimes assign a grade based on this. So some key information. First, this type of examination allows for flexibility. So you have the opportunity to ask follow-up questions as the instructor. A student makes a certain comment, you can ask what they meant about that or ask them to provide more information regarding that comment. A student mentions some sort of concept, you ask them to clarify their understanding. So this allows for more flexibility. Moving forward, ensure examination aligns with standards and outcomes. It can be tempting to use this, however, you should ensure that it really aligns to what you're trying to teach and the outcomes. Maybe, for example, it's a unit and students need to demonstrate some sort of communication. And that's an example of when this would be a really great option to use, specifically in maybe a foreign language classroom. Next, develop scoring criteria before. So whether this is a checklist or rubric, create certain criteria based on what you're looking for so that not only do the students know what they need to include in their response, but you also know what you're looking for as you're grading. Next, present one set of questions. So to make sure that it's fair, do not change the wording, don't change the vocabulary, present students with one set of questions. That being said, accommodate in advance. Maybe that does include changing questions a little bit for some students. However, definitely accommodate in advance. Next are some examples. So one of the biggest drawbacks of oral examinations is how long it may take. So although they can be used on their own, this can be quite timely. So to reduce this amount of time, you could do an oral portion of a different summative assessment. So while students are working on a presentation or a larger test, you can pull students out one by one and have the oral examination occur. Next is audio recording. Ask a question to the whole class using some sort of technology. Students will record their responses and then submit it to you. A question grid is another example. You have a list of questions relating to the unit, and whenever the student has time, they can come in, have you ask them a question, and they can give their response, and you can grade them based on that response. And then running records relates to typically reading, so students have a specific passage they need to read. They read it to you as the instructor, and then you grade them based on pronunciation, fluency, etc. So here are some examples. The first one is an example of an instructor pulling a student aside to have that oral examination as part of a larger test. And then the second one is the use of audio recording so that the instructor can go back in later and listen to these and grade them.
Hey, can I see you out in the hall for your oral examination? ¿Cuál es tu estación favorita? Yo prefiero el verano porque yo quiero más tiempo para pasar tiempo con mis amigos.
And so then here's that second one.
Class, now we're going to take the oral examination part of our test. So if you could put down your pencils and take out a device to record. I'm going to ask you guys a question in Spanish, and you guys are going to respond in Spanish, and then you're going to send me that audio recording. So, ¿cuál es la fecha de hoy?
So those are kind of silly, but those are just examples of what that might look like in a classroom. Sorry about that. So resources, voice memo, that can be found on any iPhone. You record your response, submit it to the teacher. Rev voice recorder, same as voice memo, however that's for Androids. Audio notes is same as voice memo, Rev voice recorder, however that's on computers. Animoto is a great option as there's already a class created. Students have a prompt, they record themselves with their response. This allows for not only, it's easier for teachers to access because it's all in one spot, but also you could have peers review student responses as well, which is great. And then also Quick Voice Recorder is similar to Animoto as well.